All right, it's one of those magical Sundays where I don't have anything to do, so I can pick and choose and do whatever the heck I want. So the RS is lower than I want, so I have like a negative finger gap. I haven't noticed any rubbing, so there hasn't been any rubbing. So you can go all the way down, but I want to come up a little bit. I don't know, I don't like the tucked look. Plus it may rub because I am going to have it aligned. The RS added or allowed for over a ½ inch of lowering, where my GT3 only allowed me about maybe a little bit more than 1/4 inch. So I want to come up. I'm not sure exactly how much, but I'm going to play with that. Another thing that I don't know why I never really considered this. I'm sure I have. I'm sure I knew this at one point, but it's easier to just jack up one side. But the issue, one of the commenters said, "Dude, your sway bar is under tension, so now you don't get an accurate reading. That's why you have to go drive around the block. You don't get an accurate height." So I'm going to jack up both sides. I'll cinch down the front brake. The e-brake is on. I have these torque to spec, so it should be easier to break loose. But we'll talk about that here. Now I don't need to put the jack pads on anymore because I have my tie downs, my Renline tie downs up in the jack point, so you can jack right on those, which does make it a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. So let me get you the height here, and then we'll raise it up a bit. So here's your height, here's where we're at. And then we're gonna come off of this a little bit. I'll show you the camber. Camber's out of whack. So you can see the camber's a little too aggressive. We got a pretty sunk in look here. All right, I'm gonna get the car up in the air, get the brake pedal cinched down, go from there. Brake pedal's engaged. Now that we've done this a few times, I swear to you, my other GT3, you couldn't scoop these like you could this. So, you put the thing in and scoop it out. It comes out super easily, where I was pulling on it and just darn near scratching the thing. So, another thing that we had a discussion about, or a lot of people were questioning, is, well, dude, why don't you just push down? You're going to hurt your back. Well, we might be able to, I'm going to try it here, we might be able to do it, but these were torqued to like 500 plus foot-pounds, and so there was no way that I was going to be able to push down, even with the leverage of the breaker bar. Another common question was, dude, you can't brake with the torque wrench. Well, the ratchet is not the torque portion. It's different than a normal like digital torque wrench. The ratchet is what we need to brake it. It's all we have. So the the ratcheting part doesn't have it. There's no issue with heave-ho in it on the ratchet part. The issue is where you don't want to break this with the torque bar, right? So we have our breaker bar, and then we have our combination torque wrench part, and so you don't want to break it with this, because then you have issues with messing up the calibration. And so I think that's something we needed to discuss. So let's see, and if this does break loose with me pushing down, then I'm sure I'll get an "I told you so." But I'm telling you that these were not breaking from pushing down before, and they probably won't now either. But let's just see. Obviously, less potential back issues, less issues pulling it off the jack, and less chance of breaking something on the car. But I don't know that we'll be able to, especially with the front wheels. Yeah. So you can't apply enough leverage pushing down. I'm weighed 240 pounds. You can't break the nut loose. So that's why I've got to lift up with it. I'm telling you, I'm not lifting with my lower back here. I'm just lifting with my legs. Hey! Stop yelling! So there we go. Quite a bit easier to break loose than when we did the last video. Let's take this off. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to get a reference height. Oh well. I should have measured it. We'll have to do it by eye. I'm going to do this without the wheel guide, just to show you that it can be done, so you don't need the wheel guide. It's nice to have it. Front's a little easier because you're a little bigger too. All right, so again, we have it all the way at the lowest setting. Let me get some spanner wrenches and we'll move it up. So here's our current height. You know, I'm a few threads up from all the way down. I think the whole millennial argument of preload, I don't understand where preload all of a sudden became so important, but people were freaking out about it. Hey, you messed up your preload. So anyway, I'm gonna raise it up a little bit. I'll make all you preloaders happy. All right, so let's get up in here. We'll come up, we'll measure, and then we'll see where it sits. And we'll go adjust the other side. All right. So again, I don't think it's necessary for the suspension in this car to have, I mean, it doesn't have a front helper spring, so, I mean, the odds of you getting into full droop, you'd have to jump the car, so. So we were about, you know, when I first adjusted it, we were about halfway up the collar. Again, I'm going to very unscientifically move this up, and we're going to set it back down and see where we're at. And in fact, I can almost just count the threads. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so let's measure our height. I think what I'll do, I'm gonna pick a spot. Let's see, where can I fit my caliper into? Gosh, the weather here is incredible. I mean, it's overcast and looks like it'll probably rain, but it's like 70, 68 degrees, 70 degrees. I'm going to pick the measure right on the edge. Yeah, we'll do right on the edge of this line. All right, so it's 1.29. 1.299. Okay, so we'll come back to that. 1.299 inches. I don't know why it's set to inches, but so we've got this torqued. Good. Came up quite a bit, so now I'm gonna put the darn wheel guide down so I don't mess this up. Let's see if we got lucky here. I'm sure there's a very specific formula you could use to how many turns or how much distance and height, but I don't know what that is, so I'm just eyeballing it. So if I'm not already gotten in enough trouble with people telling me what to do online, I'm going to continue that track record of good enough. Again, I haven't felt the need to mess with the rear. The height's pretty spot on for where I like it. And then we'll see what the camber looks like, but I'm gonna go down and have Bill align it as well. This car certainly feels to be quite a bit more sensitive than my GT3 was to height. That's the only reason I don't like using the wheel guide, is that we get crap everywhere. Should go get a glove, but we're doing it in slow, quick mode today. I just want to make sure that this is nice and even. There we go. Guaranteed Ride comes over here and touches that in a few minutes. The precision of the center lock is pretty incredible. Again, I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm not going to torque it to spec. I'm going to torque it, by hand here. I'm going to set it on the ground. I'm going to grab, hit the other side, because again, I have the other side of the car raised up this time. I didn't do that before. Okay. So let's set both sides down. I'm gonna have all kinds of tension on the sway bar. I think that is a little bit more appropriate. Yeah. And it's going to settle a little from there. So I think I'm gonna roll with that height. This height, again, it's going to settle a little bit from here. So that height's more my speed. So I came up, again, I didn't measure it, but now we have about a finger gap. And then when I go have it aligned, we'll have an even more accurate, a better look to it, where it doesn't look quite as sunk. All right, there's jack number one. It's pretty amazing how sensitive the height of this suspension is, and just a little tweak in height makes a big difference. We're going clockwise because we're tightening. This at the 442 foot-pounds. Okay. We need to do this without ripping the mirror off. Let this turn a little bit. Not that much. And it would be better to have someone go to her, hold the wheel. Okay, let's back it off a quarter turn. And I'm not going to pull on the torque bar. I'm going to pull on the breaker part. Getting a lot easier if you have someone go hold the wheel, but I'm managing. All right. I'm not going to put this back together just in case. All right, so let's go to the other side. Dang it, that's hard. This should be my very last project of doing it on jacks and ramps, because my lift is about done and ready to go. Lift is installed. I just mounted it this past week. Now I have to get it leveled, which seems like it's easy, but there's a bunch of goofy stuff with buying this German engineered lift that I'm having to figure out, since I'm the guinea pig on this thing. So every time I'm about ready to take the next step, I've got to go do something, buy something else. Now we need a high magnetic breaker, apparently, because it keeps tripping the 20 amp, dedicated 20 amp. So that's the disadvantage of having both wheels off the ground, as it turns a little more on you. No biggie. I'm sure somebody will have something to say about that. So I'm going to be doing, as soon as I finish this up, depending on how long this takes, I'm going to do a wash and drive with the RS. And I think my first wash and drive videos are going to be that full process rapid fire format, and then I'm going to start breaking it down into smaller sections of very specific topics. Maybe I'll start using a car reviewer voice. I don't understand that. I don't understand that need to talk like a weirdo when you're reviewing cars. I mean, for me, it instantly, like, my spidey senses, and it immediately start tingling, because to me it means that whoever's talking in that weird voice with a weird inflection when you're reviewing a car, I don't even know if I could repeat it. I don't even think I can do it. It's like immediately you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have the car. You don't own the car. So the review is useless to me. I don't know. I'm sure. I know those are the biggest viewed car videos, but I'm not interested in it. I want, talk to me like I'm not an idiot. So remember, we're going to come up to 1.295 inches, which is about 4 exposed threads. So now we're coming up closer to about, going to be closer to a 1/4 inch of lowering instead of a 1/2 inch like I had before, like it was just set at. Lock this in. I should have locked this. Okay, that's good. So even still, the spring is spinning, which is fine. It's not going to hurt anybody. As soon as we set it down, make sure all that dirt's cleaned out from there. So I don't think you got to worry about your boy here talking in weird voice. Wannabe voice, we'll call it. The other thing that's really odd to me is, like, why do all these young guys, these young car YouTuber guys, why do they have to have giveaways? I don't know. What's the point? They're not giving away anything. They're selling it, right? Either come buy some more of my stuff, or, you know, buy a raffle ticket so I can make a bunch of money. You know, if I sell however many thousands of raffle tickets, then, you know, I buy a car for 20 grand and I sell 50 grand worth of tickets, and then somebody gets to win. I don't understand that. I mean, I get that those guys all get pretty competitive about who's doing what, and they feel like they're left out, but whole giveaway thing is just, I don't know, what's the point? And you know, the odd part about this whole YouTube thing is we're supposed to be like original, and so then you end up just doing what everybody else is doing. Don't do that. Figure something else out that's your own thing. And I think that's largely the mindset of a person who really doesn't belong on this format. All right, introvert, engineer type. Shouldn't even be making videos. Heck is going on here? You know, and I guess that's why our whole community, all you guys watching this, I mean, the vast majority of you that are watching this aren't your typical, aren't your typical audience, your typical purchaser. Very atypical people. We're like in the 2% of the weirdo percentage of the population. There we go. So a lot of the odd stuff that other people do, we're just not going to do it. And that's okay. It's cool. So me walking around the car with the drone shots talking about, you can call me out when that happens, when I start doing that. All right, let's hope that this looks somewhat decent, and I don't have to do this again and again and again. I'm sure I will. It's the story of my life. Unacceptable. Have to go redo it. I think we got it. So what I'm gonna do is tighten it down. I'm gonna go drive around the block. I'm gonna check our heights again. All right, let's torque this puppy down. Get out of here. And we'll go this week and get in alignment. And the wheel's not going to turn as much because I have the other side on the ground. Let's back it off. There's a quarter turn. Oh boy. Oh, you suck. All right, this height suits me much better. This car is, you know, you can run it lower. I mean, you can slam it, but I just like it with a little bit of, you know, I've got right at maybe 3/4 of a finger gap. So I came up maybe somewhere between 1/8 and like 3/16 of an inch. So not a huge difference, but just that little tweak. Took me an hour to get all the tools out, jack the car up, you know, put it in place, put the center locks back on, and get it all set up. So anyway, that's the right height I'm going to go with. I have to go and have the airbag light reset anyway. When you do the roll bar and you remove the passenger seat, if you turn the car back on at all, then I forgot to tell them, the guy that did it up in Ohio did the install. I forgot to tell him that if you turn the ignition back on, then it'll throw the airbag light, and then you have to go get it reset. No biggie. It'll take them 2 seconds. Probably do a software update anyway. So I'm going to go and have that done. Other projects here. Maybe I'll work on this here in a little bit. I want to put the radar detector in, so I got to do that. I'm doing a unit NR3, but go down to have the car aligned, have the airbag light reset, and that's a project done. So we got the height where we want it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more GT3 stuff. I'll have a wash and drive out here either. We'll see. I may do it before. It's raining here today. I may do it before I launch this video. So anyway, check that out as well. Thanks for watching. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas.